Hey folks, Dr. Mike Israetel here for Renaissance Periodization, another weekly tip. They just keep coming. When will they stop? This weekly tip is, controversial. Don't exceed 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. Why though? What's the deal, Doc? What are you saying to us? You may be thinking at home. 6 points, maybe even 7. First, almost every protein intake and muscle growth study that is on a variety of metrics, and the more direct metrics are more accurate, and pretty much all of them show that optimal protein intakes, that is the most muscle you can grow, usually these studies top out at below 1 gram per pound per day, which is to say that if we plot a curve of protein intake on the one axis and growth, muscle growth result on the other, it does this thing here, and it doesn't go up anymore. It plateaus, and usually that value is like 0.8 to 0.95 grams per pound per day. So if you eat 1 gram per pound per day, you're essentially covered in almost every case. Not every case, I'll get to that in the second point, but like if people say like, yeah, bro, got to get in fucking 1.5 grams, got to get in 2 grams per pound, like based on what? Like certainly not on the studies. Now, we got some other points. There are a few studies done on natural bodybuilders very close to the peak of their competition, and they show that potentially slightly higher intakes are beneficial during that time, mostly for anti-catabolism, preventing muscle loss, which if you're gaining muscle is almost not a concern at all. But it's just over that, and it's only like 4 weeks out of a show. So maybe that's an exception, and then you eat like 1.1 to 1.3 grams per pound per day, and you're fucking golden. And any more than that is bad for you, but it's like why? So the why though actually applies to the more protein, not the less. Point number 3, people say, yeah, fucking whatever, but I'm on cycle, bro. I'm on gear. I fucking need more protein to do shit. LOL. The funny thing is that anabolic steroids expand what's called your feed efficiency. As a matter of fact, when they're given to cattle, why a lot of them are developed. Tren was developed for cattle, is actually approved exclusively for the use of cattle. What they do is they feed the cattle less, and the cattle get really stressed in these transitions when they're driving from where they grow up to the place where they're slaughtered. Oh boy. And don't get the vegans here this one. Sorry, folks. And what they do is they give them a shitload of tren during that time, and even though they're eating less food and they're way more stressed, they don't lose hardly any muscle, because for the amount of protein you get with anabolic steroids from your diet, they increase the efficiency of the muscle growth and retention process. And if you're getting even a little less than usual, you still retain and grow more muscle on them. So if you're getting the usual natty amount, which is 1 gram per pound, very likely if you take steroids on top of that or any other performance enhancing drugs that expand hypertrophy like growth hormone, insulin, etc., you're probably like just swimming in a sea of amino acids at that point, and that's even less the limiting factor. So when people say I'm on drugs, I fucking need steroids, you'll see other people say I'm natty, so I'm on drugs, I need more protein. You'll hear natty people are actually more correct to say I'm natty, need more protein. Turns out both of them are correct as far as they go, but it doesn't go far enough. 1 gram per pound really just takes care of you in most situations. Natty, enhanced, purple, blue, alien, computer. How much protein do androids need? Gram per pound for you fucking androids too. I don't care where you plug it in, gram per pound. Now, here are the downsides of eating a lot of protein. Kidney health is not a downside of eating a lot of protein. If you're healthy and kidneys aren't full of rocks or some shit, then you not a very medical take. Medical literature is very, very clear on this. High protein diets do not pose a risk to kidneys, not short term, not long term, not nothing. So don't worry about that. The only real downsides are kind of like kind of milquetoast ones, like protein is more expensive. Like it just is. Like if you know 1 gram per pound is the most growth you'll get pretty much in all circumstances, why the fuck would you eat 2 grams per pound of your grocery bill is like $100,000? Elon Musk is calling you up. You know what I'm saying? Why is your grocery bill so high? Jeff Bezos, you're borrowing money from your grocery bill fund. That's kind of stupid, right? Carbs and fats in addition to that. So if you eat more protein, you have to displace some carbs and fats, given you know what your calories are supposed to be. So if you eat fewer carbs and fats, fats support hormonal operation really well, especially for drug-free individuals. So if you have a higher fat diet, it's good for your hormones, which means you support muscle growth, support sleep, and also actually, especially for drug-free people and even people on gear, a higher fat diet gets you feel me down there, you getting hard more often, you're hornier. I know that works with males really well. The females, it's not as predictable, but probably can't hurt. So if you're eating a shitload of protein and very little fat, you're hurting yourself where it matters most, your masturbation habits. Listen, those are important. Carbs, they give you huge pumps, they provide energy, and they're also at a certain point sort of supportively anabolic, right? And if you tons of protein to the point where you're doing lower carbs than you could, you're actually getting probably a net smaller anabolic and anti-catabolic effect. So it's not something you want to do. It's got some downsides. They're not big downsides. You can still eat a crap load of protein and less everything else, but your results either won't be marginally, just a little bit not as good, or you just be paying like a lot of money costs and also like farts and poops, and it's annoying to chew. Fuck that, especially at a mass gain. You don't want to eat any more protein than you have to. If some could say, okay, what about hunger? Now, I eat a little bit more than a gram per pound on my hypocaloric phases because I get a pretty good anti-hunger effect from higher protein. But as Menno Henselmans, who you should be following anyway, pointed out many times, green veggies have a way bigger per calorie effect on controlling hunger than any protein you'll ever eat in your entire life. So if you really want an anti-hunger wallop, keep your protein maybe a little higher than a gram per pound, but don't go 2 and 3 grams per pound, which I've actually seen people do. Just put in more veggies into your diet, reduce more of the starchy carbs, and all of a sudden your anti-hunger is awesome, even though you're not killing yourself with a crazy amount of protein. And by killing, I mean in your wallet and your sex drive, not in your kidneys. So doesn't that mean you shouldn't eat more than a gram of protein per pound per day? No, but if you are eating more than a gram of protein per pound per day, you should at least to your own self and your own mind have a compelling reason to do so. And if you do it, and even without a compelling reason, at least don't expect magic to happen. Be like, the kind of, I don't want to say tragic, mini, real first world tragedy is when like a 19-year-old kid in college is like, I'm fucking serious about lifting. I've had enough of this shit. Bullies punch me in the face, sand in my face, etc. Does that still happen, or is that is Twitter bullying the only thing young kids experience now? Any case, people talk shit to me on Twitter. I got to get jacked. When that kid goes and instead of eating like 0.9 grams of protein per pound body weight per day, he's like, I'm getting serious. And he eats 2 grams per pound and he's like, this is going to be a big deal. Then he just gets the same muscle growth he has been, except at like double the food cost and an annoying amount of really smelly farts, which look, if you're trying to get some street cred and trying to get laid out here, smelly farts are a great way to do it. Fart it up. Tell all your enemies you fuck with me. You're smelling my farts. See you guys next time.